And Jesus goes to pray. And Jesus prays after this manner. He said, Father, if it were possible, let this cup pass me by. He said, yet not my will, but thine. That's how kingdom works. You come to a point where you say, yes, Lord, you gave me free will as a man, but I choose to submit my will for your will. In fact, I teach my people, worship is not a song. You can worship through singing, but worship begins at the point where you surrender your will for the will of the Father. You can never be an agent of this kingdom and manifest God's authority if you don't come to that point where you submit your will for the will of God. It wasn't easy for Jesus. Bible scholars told us that his sweat was as thick as blood, a state of melancholy. Yet he knew that if kingdom will advance, only those who surrender their will can survive. No wonder Jesus said, except the corn of wheat falls to the ground and dies, he said it will abide alone. We cannot advance God's kingdom unless we cry like Jesus, thy will be done on earth. Have you found God's will for your family? Have you found God's will for your life? Have you found God's will for your nation? If you have, to what extent do you drive to fulfill that will? It is our surrender to God that makes his power visible through us. If we can't surrender to him, we can't advance God's kingdom. Today, church has been so watered down, and because we want everybody to come to church and to stay in church, we even water the doctrine down. So from January to December is prophecy. A fornicator is being prophesied to, and that fornicator can testify how good God is, but God has not been good enough to break the power of fornication. Murderers, liars, people full of compromise. Church is full on Sunday, but government is bad. Church is full on Sunday, but market is bad. The question is, what have they been hearing? The kingdom has not yet been preached. If you will walk with God, if you will have relevance with God, if you will carry God's glory and God's power to your generation, you'll begin the day you submit your will. You'll begin the day you make a vow to yourself that compromise will be no more. If it is what God wants, that's what I want. You begin to teach yourself to accept and to adopt what God wants. Otherwise, your life will pass, but your destiny will not be fulfilled. There are many unfulfilled destinies that have completed the cycle of life, have been buried, epitaph clearly written, but there's no destiny fulfilled.